All right, so y'all don't make too much fun of me, all right, man?
What's up? It's Dante with Barstool Backstage. I am at Bloom Nightclub, home of an after party tonight. I'm with 2/3 of Major Lazer, my man Walshy Fire, Ape Drums. What's up, fellas?
Dea, my brother, dea.
Thank you so much for doing this. I know this is last thing you want to be doing before you jump on.
Never, man. Good conversation. Always.
No,
always
we were just talking about the background music, how loud it is up here with no door to shut. Hopefully, we don't get flagged for copyright by anybody.
Right.
Shout out Booty Hole Brown.
Yeah, but just so y'all know, that's why we're going to be yelling through this whole interview.
No, I love it. Yeah. I love it. So, Chicago, guys.
Chicago.
What do you think? What do you think? Where does it rank on your favorite places to visit? Not DJ, but to visit.
You know, it's funny, man. Summertime Shy is actually fun as hell.
It's the best.
Guess who gets booked a lot in the winter though? Your boy. And it's not as nice.
No.
So
no,
man,
it is not.
Summertime, I've had some great nights, great memories, man. You know, doing some boat stuff on the river and, you know, enjoying the summer, man. But I actually get booked more in the winter. And so I'm not a fan of that one.
I think it's an availability thing with you. I think you're a little busy in the
Exactly.
summertime.
That's a fact.
It's
way more booked in the summertime, and then wintertime it's like, yo, I got a free Saturday, so let's go where it's like -20 for sure.
What about you? You've been coming here for a while, man.
Yeah, I had a good like group of friends here, and I never had a bad time in Chicago. You can ask them, man. And I've always missed flights. It was always like them, you know, like I would come, I was supposed to fly out the next day, and they'd be like, no, you'll be all right. I'll call the airport for you. You're gonna have a flight the next day after. We're gonna chill tomorrow. And one of the best times of my life was in summertime. We went on the boat, and like I had no swimming clothes. I went in there in my underwear. In the water, it was the best. It was the best. So,
were we talking lake or river? Because it's kind of a big jump off.
It was the lake. It was the lake. Yeah.
All right, that's why it was enjoyable.
It was
if it was
the
a
good
river,
water. It was the good water. Yeah.
If it was a river, it would have been a little different.
Never that.
But no, you guys are here tonight. Lollapalooza weekend. We hit the fest at all? We hitting the fest at all? What's the plan?
Nah, I'm out, man. I got a show tomorrow in Miami, so I'll miss it this year.
Dude, speaking of Miami, you walked in with this hat, this like Jeff Conine, Juan Pierre.
Yeah, where did we get this hat from?
Shout out to Lotto Vintage, man. Definitely.
Why is it special? Show them why it's special, though.
Yeah, show them the back.
We're not sponsored, but
Jeez,
we're not sponsored by Blockbuster today. This show is not sponsored by Blockbuster. But shout out to a company that I believe it has like one store left in America or something like that.
Nostalgic, man. Nostalgic.
But yeah, you can imagine what they were doing. Big collab things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you can imagine how huge this collab would have been.
Yeah, I don't think you can find that hat anywhere else.
Yeah, man. So, you know, and I'm not really a big fan of baseball, but I love this hat. And as soon as I saw
what's your sport?
Well, you know, my older brother was a cricket legend.
No way.
Yeah, my older brother was like the Michael Jordan of cricket.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Courtney Walsh. You guys look him up, man. True legend. He held the world record for most wickets taken up until recently, with 519 or 49, something like that. And now he's
I feel really stupid asking this, but
yeah,
is a wicket the pitch or
the
is
pitch.
it? All right, that's
he was a bowler.
All right, that's what I thought.
Man.
So is that like a strikeout?
That's like that many strikeouts,
Holy
right?
shit.
Yeah, and that's like serious, you know. And right now he's a commentator on ESPN. He also coaches for a couple teams. I think he was coaching for Bangladesh. Now he coaches for Antigua. So that's my favorite sport because that was my family sport. Outside of that, you know, I grew up in America, so American football, for sure, number one in my heart, man.
Who's your team?
Oh, man, if it's not Florida and not Miami, I don't know what we're talking about.
Fins?
Every time, every sport. And also shout out to Jamaica, which is where I'm from originally, having the World Cup females team go to the 16. Come on, for the first time ever. I think first Caribbean nation ever. So shout out to the reggae girls.
Knocked out Brazil, too.
Knocked out Brazil.
That's wild.
Shout out to the reggae girls, the queens. Big up on herself.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about you over there? Any sports?
I'm never. I used to love basketball. That was like my first dream, was to be a basketball player, and then up until like high school, I realized I wasn't gonna be as tall as I thought I was gonna be. So then, I never really watched sports after that. I'm more of like, I like to play them, but I don't really care to watch them.
So how early were you into music? When did you decide music was the route you were gonna go, since sports weren't gonna work out?
Probably like 16, 17. I was like, all right, where I was in a suburb in Houston, and I was like, my mom, actually, funny enough, my mom like showed me these guys, showed me like, you know, these kids that were doing like DJing with like the first CDJ pioneers, and I was like, before I wanted to be a scratch DJ, that was out of the pocket because we couldn't afford the gear. But then she showed me a video of these kids doing stuff on the first Pioneer with CDs, and then I looked it up. I did all my like YouTube research when it first came out, and then I was like, man, this looks so fun. Like, this looks like the best job ever. And everybody's like enjoying themselves. You cannot have a bad time doing it. So after that, I was like, all right, cool. And it was like also the first time where producers were becoming artists. So I was like, all right, if I want to be able to do this, I got to produce my own music. And like, luckily I got the jump on that when it first started, because I would hate to do that now. I would hate to be in that position now, you know?
It's
so
funny
hard.
that you brought up the YouTube tutorials and all that, because you're like one of the guys now. I know so many, you know, young buck DJs that have come up. I mean, you were putting videos out back in like the early 2010s, I remember, and all that.
Yeah, like little vlogs here and there, you know, but I think like I taught myself, as far as producing goes, I taught myself everything I know from YouTube. Even DJing, some of the DJ stuff, like when I first got my first, like, I think before Pioneer, I was like with Denon's, like I was just like whatever I can afford, you know. And then
Same.
I was like learning how to use, what is a cue? I
Dude,
didn't know what a cue was.
I had American DJ, like dual deck
exactly,
piece of shit.
yeah.
Like,
that's the cheapest shit you could get. And
real
you're like, fuck it, I'm
piece.
gonna get it. It does the same shit, whatever. And I did have like the wedding gear DJ setup for my first gear ever, and I was DJing house parties in like Katy, Texas, like the worst, like it was horrible. I didn't even know how to mix, but I was kidding. I was the only DJ getting booked every weekend for like jocks house parties.
I love it.
Yeah.
What about you? Little different?
Yeah, I'm a little bit older, man. So for me, DJing was not a thing. You know, it wasn't a thing. There was no internet, to be honest with you. So there was no checking out other people. There was no, you know, you went to the block parties and the backyard parties for that kind of stuff. So actually being a DJ was not a thing. And you know, I went through many jobs before I decided to go to work at nightlife. So you know, I started right after college, actually, after having a couple jobs after college. And that's when I started, man. So, you know, shout out to my mom as well, because I was working at IBM. I know most people don't know what IBM is now, but there was a time where IBM was like the biggest company you could work for. And I was working for IBM, and for me to leave that job and go into DJing, I definitely
That's a big risk.
needed that support. And she supported, man. She helped me in every way she could, you know. And so I was able to get to gigs with her car, and I was still working like little jobs, but I was able to buy my records, and, you know, and if I needed anything, she always hooked it up. So shout out to her for sure.
So you were a vinyl guy.
I'm a vinyl guy, man, and I got tons of vinyl at home, and I was really not trying to make the transition either. I really held on to it. And so I basically missed the whole CD DJing era. I went from vinyl to a program called Final Scratch. That was the first thing. It was a little box with two outlets, two that go into the mixer, and then two that go into this other box that goes into your laptop. Back then, everyone had a Sony Vaio, and it sucked bad. It sounded horrible. The wheels, because, you know, I was doing dancehall, so when you wheel up the record, it sounded like it sounded like you waterboarding somebody. It sounded horrible, man. But, you know, people were like, wow, this is the future. And like I said, you know, I had gone from vinyl to that. So for me, I was still bringing my vinyl to my first gigs with the Serato. Well, I'm sorry, with the Final Scratch, because it was so shaky and untrustworthy.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the early guys, if not all of them, were like, you're not plugging that into my equipment. So you had to like battle with these guys. And nightlife now is much more glamorous than it was back then. Back then it was very seedy, very like a lot of gangsters were in it. So to plug into their equipment to try to play, you really had to do a lot of convincing. And so I worked, that. So I want to say, man, me and the crew I was with at the time, Black Chiney, no question, probably the reason why so many people DJ on laptop, because we fought that fight early. We fought every single battle you could think of early. Sony Vaio and Final Scratch. And then when it became popular, it was Mac and it was early versions of Serato. But before that, it was a lot of other programs before Serato came out, and we tried all of them. Like, we were big on Tractor. Actually, we were sponsored by Tractor. Went to Germany and everything.
I didn't know that. I knew Tractor and Serato came out around the same time, but I didn't think there was anything before them.
Yeah, man. Final Scratch.
No
Do your
shit.
homework. Final Scratch. And when I tell you, ask anybody, go to any chat board or anybody in the comment section that did anything with Final Scratch, man, tell them about Final Scratch. It predates all of this stuff. And I mean, there was other little programs too, like little hardware that you could do. Final Scratch was very popular, and that was because of us. And then we went over to Mac, and Final Scratch and Mac didn't work together, so then we ended up working with Tractor. And we were with Tractor for years. And then eventually we just was like, yo, everywhere we go, everyone's using Serato. So let's just use Serato. But Serato was the last thing I used. I used everything before that.
So right before we started recording, we were talking about setups and where everything's going now. And it's like, at least personally, I thought we were in the future 10 years ago, and it's completely fucking changed. And
Yeah.
Pioneer especially has raised the bar so much. You were commenting on what you think the next wave is going to be, and you think it's all going to be basically built into one.
Yeah, I don't see
system,
it not
right?
being able to. I think that more DJs are seeing the ease of just walking with the sticks. And like I said, I fought changing from vinyl. To me, why would I leave vinyl? I was a master of it, and it sounded good, and yeah, why would I leave that, to go to CDs? So for me, going to CDs didn't make sense. But then when the laptop came out and I was able to have tens of thousands of records and not have to carry a record box anymore internationally, that began to make sense. I think something's going to come along that's going to make everyone look at the laptop like how I would look at boxes of records. And when that happens, the laptop will be out of here, no question. But I'm holding on. I'm sticking with it. I am going to DJ tonight on the sticks just because my numero uno hombre, Apison, is going to DJ on sticks. And it pushes me to challenge myself with the sticks when I DJ with him.
I'm proud too, because he was like, man, I ain't never going to change. And every time he's with the sticks, I'm like, all right, it's a little like step by step.
But I want to say, man, for what I do, sticks will never compare to a laptop. Sound effects, crazy loud.
Yeah, it's a whole different style.
Being able to DJ, 5-second songs, drop,
Right.
drop, drop, drop,
Right.
drop, drop, drop. I've seen people do it on sticks though, but they're really good at it. And I don't think I want to learn that level of searching, and queuing and stuff. I'll just keep
a lot of
with
it's
the laptop.
rehearsed and muscle memory too. Like
Right.
I mean, I don't know what's your preference. Obviously, do you even wear headphones?
I mean, a lot of the times I don't.
How the videos I've seen, how the hell are you doing what you do with no headphones?
I think
on?
what's most of the time is like record box. Like once you set everything up on record box, everything else is just visual after that.
This is like what every record box user always says too. Is it's like once it's set up in record box, it's It's so easy.
Yeah.
So you know I don't use record box that often. I got headphones.
Yeah. And I actually was supposed to bring my headphones, and I forgot. We just shared an adapter. I had to buy an Apple. So, I forgot all my stuff, and he was like, yo, you got an adapter? I was like, yo, I had to buy one today, so.
Yeah, so like I said, man, but something's gonna come along.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a mixer with everything built in that's on my laptop that's gonna be in every club, in every venue all over the world, and I won't need a laptop. And when that happens,
he'll just need to log in
right
to that specific
and everything
software,
will come
and
up.
everything will be there. And that's how it'll be.
Can you imagine that? You won't even need a USB anymore. You just go to a mixer at every
software,
venue,
yeah.
and you type in your password.
I know. I don't trust this cloud shit though, man. Like how
But you
they're
go-
pulling stuff streaming online and all
Yeah,
I don't
so
know. That's a little.
I don't have anything in the cloud.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna say that.
I agree with you. I don't trust anything either. I don't. But man, one day I'm gonna be looking at I'm gonna be looking at myself as the last man with a laptop. I'm gonna look at myself, man. I'm gonna be holding that laptop in my hand, and I'm gonna look around, and I'm the dinosaur in the room, and I'm gonna have to say to myself, and yo, I'm gonna look around, and my laptop is not gonna be able to work anymore.
I think it's gonna get
Just like vinyl with needles, you pull up with vinyl and there's nowhere to play them.
I know.
That's what's going to happen with a laptop. Eventually, someone's going to say, yo, we don't have anything you can plug that into.
So that is one of the weird things is how no clubs have tables anymore.
Right.
There used to always be 2 sets of tables, 2 CDJs. Now no one has tables.
No one has that anymore. So that's what's going to happen with the
But
laptop.
I think people will look at you and be like, that's an old school cat.
Yeah, he's an old man.
With respect. That's like when you do see someone playing even Serato vinyl, it's like, all right.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a nod.
That's
like,
like
yo, I
OG,
see you.
right?
But again, man, just to answer the question on the future, man, and we're in such a quickening right now where everything is moving so fast. I don't doubt that this is going to happen in the next 5 years.
Where do you think all this technology is coming from?
It's coming from a demand. People want it. Everybody is very vocal on how much they love new stuff. And when something drops, everyone adopts it.
That was kind of like a test. That was a test question to see how weird we can get. I was wondering if you guys are like in any of these conspiracy theories or anything about this alien reverse engineering and shit that's going on.
I'm with all of them, sure. I don't know that one. I don't know most of them. But again,
What do you think about all this alien news that's coming out right now?
oh man, that's just like us being 40 years behind on the timeline of how news gets to the masses. Can you imagine what they got 40 years
Right.
Already in the pipeline that
Right.
we won't know till the next 40 years? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was not surprised when they said
Yeah,
that
I
shit.
wasn't
was
surprised
like,
at all.
we've
But
been
that's
known this,
that's
yeah.
actually kind of like a bad thing because now no one's reacting.
Isn't
Exactly.
Everyone's just mad cool with it.
Isn't it fucking crazy?
It's like, oh, aliens, cool.
It's almost like everything that's happened already. They did that on purpose so that when they do announce the aliens, by
Everyone's
the way,
just
we got
like-
some aliens chilling in the.
Everyone's just like,
They're
oh.
like, oh, whatever. We don't give a fuck
Whatever.
about that anymore. Yeah.
Didn't
But-
you 10 years ago if somebody told you, hey, in 2023 the government is going to make a public announcement that there's life out there, we're not alone, blah blah, wouldn't you be like, yo, people are gonna go fucking
I
crazy?
would think so. I honestly would.
And like you
I would
said,
think that-
it's like
I
doesn't
would
even
think-
make the news.
I would think, yo, if you told me, yo, in 20 years, they're going to announce, yo, we got some aliens, we chill with them. They're hanging, they're behind the curtain, but you got to wait another 20 before we show you. But, yo, right now, we just want you to know, we link up. It's a link up thing. If they, I would have told you the streets is going to be on fire because once they get whatever information they get from them, how much information we have right now won't matter anymore.
Right.
Right? So, Yuval Noah, he's always talking about how the dollar is the biggest lie ever told. Because most people think like a religion is like the biggest lie and anything like that. But the dollar is the biggest lie ever told because it is actually just a piece of paper.
We're totally worthless.
We're totally worthless. Can't feed us, can't shelter us. Yet we give it the most, respect, and people die over it and things like that.
Yep.
Can you imagine what's next? That these guys are just like, all right, well, we got to tell them about what this alien just told us about. because all this is no longer, all this is useful, useless now, and it's only again. I give you 5 years. In 5 years, there's going to be an alien press conference.
Yeah, like an actual alien.
Yo, like the
that's gonna be
alien.
there.
Dude, I believe it.
And nobody's gonna
I'm
give
not.
a fuck.
Yo, I'm telling you, it might not even be that watched.
Yeah.
Like, yo, if you put the alien conference up against like a dating show,
They're gonna make memes out of it.
Yeah.
Before they do the conference, they're gonna be like, "Oh, leak of an alien." Everybody's gonna put memes.
Yeah.
Like just making fun of it.
yo, he's gonna be like dressed all funny.
Yeah.
They just gonna clown him.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, yo, and then there's gonna be like, a real message that he's trying to say, and he's gonna be spitting some real bars, and everyone's just gonna remix it and make fun of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And nothing's and there'll be a portion of people that will benefit hugely off of whatever he says, and then I want to say 85% dumb, deaf, and blind. So what side you on? You on the 15% or you gonna be in the 85?
I don't know, man. I think 5 years might be longer. I think it's coming.
Man, I'm
I think
telling
it's
you right
coming
now,
soon.
I'm giving you 5 just
All
to
right.
be nice.
Oh, no,
I
that's
agree
fair.
with you.
That's fair.
And also, man, I wouldn't doubt that Barstool gets the interview. I don't see why Barstool
Why
is
not?
blowing up.
Yeah, why
it's
not?
getting bigger and bigger. It's becoming the number one, outlet for everything that's important in the world. That's why we're here, because we don't do interviews for anybody. You don't think an alien is on the same level as us? An alien announcement, an alien stepping up and being like, "Yo, y'all got questions?" is about the same.
Yeah.
It's about as important as us right now.
No, I love it. I love
And
it.
so, yeah, Barstool's getting that interview, man.
That's a great.
Imagine
social
asking
clip right
him
there.
what team.
Imagine asking them, "Do y'all got music? What's your music sound like?"
That's actually my next
Oh
question.
man, that'd be crazy.
We getting any new Major Lazer?
Yeah, man. Well, we dropped an album with Major League, I'm a Piano to the World, which is African house music. And if you're into house music, you got to check out African
So
house
is
music.
it like Afro beats or is it different?
It's different, right?
Really?
And that's because it's got a much more steady rhythmic pace, while Afrobeats is, dancing. You could get a bust of real sweat with Afrobeats. This is like house music, but it's going to have completely different melodies and chords. And of course, it's called I'm a Piano, so a lot of it has piano, but it's all about log drum and a lot of these other sounds that they're bringing into house music. But yes, after that, yes. And I'm not gonna lie, man, the conversations are ramping up. I wanna say summer 2024,
Beautiful.
maybe end of 2024. We'll start kick off fierce again. I'll start drop some song and on a blood
So
clot.
are we? I mean, I don't want you to like fucking spill the beans on everything, but are we in like the initial stages? Have you guys
Yeah, man,
been in
right
the studio?
now. No, man, we're not
Not
going
yet?
in the studio yet.
Not yet?
Right now, we just talking. And we like, because music is weird right now.
Yeah.
TikTok is really where you find like music now. And so who's running that, right?
You
Is
like
it-
that or no?
No, only because I don't understand it. And if I understood it, maybe I would like it. But I just don't understand it. So for right now, no.
I mean, I get it, but I'm not a fan of it. No, I think the quality of music and the talent is getting less and less, and it's just about popularity and people
Now-
don't care as much about how
now-
good music is.
Now, if the third member was here, what do you think he would answer?
We would say the same thing. I think we all
Yeah?
agree on the same thing.
Yeah, but for sure, he probably understands TikTok more than both of us because he understands how to make a song go viral. And he's got a catalog of old songs that constantly, resurface and
like
get popular
re-hit,
again.
yeah.
And that's the benefit of TikTok.
Right.
It's some kid
He's the alien, though. He's the real alien. Yeah.
brings
great
his song
point.
back out, and you're like, man, I didn't expect that.
Isn't it wild hearing these old songs that this new generation's making new
Yeah.
and shit, and giving life to, and it's not even
Yeah.
ironic. They're just hearing it for like the first time.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
That's
I
what I'm
love
saying. Is like all it takes is just one person to be like, oh, let's just do this song, and it changes their life. Like, wow.
But definitely, it's good to watch and understand and observe. And I think that's what we've been doing for a couple of years, actually, is really just watching the scene, seeing what's happening, seeing how people consume music. Because the last thing you want to do is just drop music and it just, goes into the ether. So understanding how people play music and drop music and engage in music is probably the best thing to do before you drop music. You know what they always say? They say the first thing you should do before you drop a song is call the person that loves you the most. It might be your mom, it might be like a best friend, and say, "Are you ready?" And if that person says ready for what, then don't drop your music because you haven't promoted it right.
That's great advice. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
But
man. I forgot the brother that said it, but shout out to him. He's from Miami too. But it was one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard. He was like, yo, just randomly ask your most trusted circle, the people that should know what you're up to, are you ready? And if they're like, yo, for what? Then you haven't built any excitement even in your own circle. How is somebody else in the world going to be excited about what you're doing?
I love that. That's great, valuable advice right there for aspiring musicians. I'm getting yelled at because you guys got to go on stage.
do.
So let me wrap
Yeah,
this
yeah.
up real quick. Obviously, thank you guys so much for doing this. Dream feature. If you could have one dream artist, dead or alive, on this upcoming album, who we going with?
I mean, you got to take the Dead off, man. We're going to say Bob Marley. We're going to say, I mean, the Dead is insane. Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
We're
wild.
going to go crazy with the Dead. Alive, Rihanna. A Rihanna and Junior Gong collaboration song.
that sounds like a smash.
Yeah.
I'm the worst at these questions because I'm blank. There's just so much. I don't know, man. Like, maybe. I don't know, man. I would just like
Get
go
that
to
alien
my
on,
biggest
man. Get
my
that
biggest
alien.
idols, maybe like dream collaboration. That's tough.
I
think, well, she nailed it, and I can see that happening, honestly.
It would be big. It'd be massive.
For where you guys are standing,
Yeah, man. So let's manifest it.
let's fucking manifest
what's up.
that, man.
I love it, man.
Thank you guys for doing
Man,
this.
Barstool to the world.
Love you.
Guys, listen.
Thanks a
I
lot.
just had surgery on my neck a couple days ago. Can he zoom in and catch it? I want him to. I'm going to come over there so that you can see what this looks like, man. So just so everyone out there is like, man, why Wall standing like that?
Why you moving all
Why
weird?
you moving all weird? Like my posture is perfect right now because because of this neck surgery. I just want y'all to know I'm not capping out here because that's the thing is that somebody gonna go make a meme and it's like wow, it's like me all standing all like.
You look like they're gonna say you look like a Roblox character.
Yeah, nah, man, I'm not trying to be nothing but real with y'all. So just know. I would have slouched. I would have looked way cooler.
You feeling
know what I'm
good?
saying? I feel great though, man.
right.
But I want y'all to see this,
Yo,
man.
you did your time. Yo, go on, take
Take it
your
easy.
time.
Go
Take
take
it.
I don't know which camera. Which camera should I go into, man? You know what I'm saying? Y'all catch that if you can, man. You got it? All right, so y'all don't make too much fun of me, all right, man?